Welcome to this kettlebell session. We're going to start off with some warm-up exercises. I just want you to do some forward bends to start off with. Start mobilizing the hips, stretching out those muscles down through the back of your thighs, your hamstrings and your glutes, starting to get the core activated. We're going to do about 10 of these forward bends, and then we take it into a set of squats. So just squatting down, sitting back onto your heels, pushing your hips back behind. Once again, going for 10 reps here. So getting those muscles around the knees, starting to warm up a little bit more. And then once you've done 10 squats, we're going to take it into some lunges. So just stepping it forward, dropping your back knee down towards the ground, and then switching over, same thing on the other side. Keep going there. And again, we're going to do 10 reps. So doing 5 on each side. And once you've done your 10, just resting up. And we shall get into our first exercise with the kettlebell. Now this is going to be a warm-up exercise. We're going to start by doing some half swings. And for those of you who have done them before, hang on, I'm just going to adjust my position. Those of you who've done these before know that we're trying to use all of the muscles that are involved in the kettlebell swing, but just at a lower intensity. So rather than swinging the kettlebell right up in front to start off with, we're just going to do a nice gentle rocking motion through the hips and just letting that kettlebell come up to about waist height. It's a very gentle movement, getting the muscles to start working and the joints to start moving. All right, when you're ready, guys, let's start. And we're going to go for 30 seconds on this one. So just letting that kettlebell come up to about waist height. Still contracting the glutes to straighten up the hips, but not with as much force as you would when you're doing a full swing. Here we go, another 10 seconds here. 5 to go. And that's time. All right, resting the kettlebell down. We have 15 seconds rest, and then we're going to do our second set. Okay, starting in 5, reaching down, grabbing the handle of the kettlebell, and let's go. Hiking the weight back between your legs, and then straightening up the hips. Now, if you want to go a little bit higher on this set, you can, but we're still not doing a full swing. Okay, just applying a little bit more force with those glutes, letting the kettlebell come up a little bit higher. Just going to go for 5 more seconds on this one. And that's time. Okay, resting the kettlebell back down, and we're going to do 1 more set. So we should be starting to feel like we're warming up a little bit. Heart rate is raising, breathing rate is going up. Get ready to start in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Straight into those swings. Again, you can go a little bit higher than you did on the last set if you want, but still not going to full height swings. That's it. Still just using this movement as a form of warm-up. 10 more seconds. 5 more. And that's time. All right, resting the weight back down there. Okay, now we have a rest for about 30 seconds. And now we're going to get into our full swings. So we're going to be doing 25 swings every minute on the minute. So at the start of the minute, we start doing our 25 swings. Once we've completed 25 swings, we rest the weight back down on the ground and we rest for the remainder of the minute. And then on the next 1 minute mark, we start going again. Now we're just going to do 3 sets. So it'll be 3 sets of 25 swings in 3 minutes. Now when you're doing your swings, remember, you need to start with the weight on the ground, okay? As opposed to picking it up and trying to start your swing from here. Here, if I need to start my swing, I've really got to hyperextend my back to generate some momentum to start the swing. And that's going to put pressure on the back. So I want you to start with the weight down on the ground. I squat down, reach out to grab the handle, and the first movement is to hike the weight back between my legs, and then I can stand up into the swing once I've generated that initial momentum. All right, guys, so getting ready for your first 25 swings. Ready? And let's go. So starting there, so full swing, swinging that weight right up to about shoulder or eye height. Okay, but all of the power to get that kettlebell to swing up in front is coming from your hip drive. It's coming from the glutes. So I'm driving my hips forward explosively, generating that forwards momentum, which then translates into the upward swing of the kettlebell. That's it. We should be coming up to around about the last 5. Okay, but once you've done your 25, I want you to rest the kettlebell down on the ground, and we're going to have a breather for the remainder of our 1 minute. Now that's the 40-second mark, so we've got 15 seconds rest now. And again, we're going to start our next set with the kettlebell on the ground. Let's get ready to go. Squat down, reach out and grab the handle. First movement is hiking it back between our legs. Let's go. Hike it back, and then standing up into the swing. Now you need to make sure that everything is straight at the top of that swing. We need to have straight knees, straight hips, and straight back. We want to try and avoid not straightening the knees, okay? So snap the knees back, drive the hips forward, everything nice and straight at the top. Keep going there. That's it. You should be up to your last few swings. And once you've completed 25, let's put that weight back down on the ground and have a rest. 20 seconds until we start our next set. So just use these few seconds to catch your breath, get your breathing back under control. Let the heart rate start to come down a little bit. Okay, starting in 5 seconds. Get ready. Squat down. Reach out to grab the handle of the kettlebell, and let's go. Hike your back, and then stand up into your swing. Good stuff, guys. Keep going there. Keep it up. Now we should be coming up to the halfway mark, around about 12 or 13 reps. Keep working through, making sure that you straighten your hips all the way. And once you've done your 25 swings, we're going to rest the kettlebell down and have a little bit of a longer break. Now, should be up to the last few reps. And once you've done your 25, resting the kettlebell back down on the ground. Okay, good stuff. All right, now the next exercise we're going to move on to is the kettlebell snatch. But before we actually do the full kettlebell snatch, we're going to do a couple of exercises that are going to help reinforce the technique. Now, when I do the kettlebell snatch, it's important to remember that the hips driving forward are still producing most of the movement, most of the momentum, okay? But now I'm taking the weight straight up overhead in one movement, okay? Now, the first thing that we have to remember is that instead of swinging the weight out at the shoulder joint, I've got to keep my upper arm tucked in so that the weight swings up at the elbow joint. Now this is called a short swing, okay? Obviously shorter than a long swing. So let's start off just by doing some reps on that short swing. So I want you to go for 10 reps on each side. Let's go for it. So driving the hips forward, but keep the upper arm tucked in by your body so that the weight swings up at the elbow. Now you need to be generating momentum from the hips. Okay, we're not just bicep curling the weight. Okay, we're driving the hips forward, and that's producing the momentum. Now, once you've done 10, I'm going to swap over, do the same thing on the other side. Drive the hips forward, let that weight swing up at the elbow. Again, the arms should stay fairly relaxed. All the momentum to get that kettlebell to swing up is coming from my hip drive. And once you've done 10, we're going to rest there. Okay, so I want you to remember when you're doing your kettlebell snatch, we keep that upper arm tucked in. So when the kettlebell comes up to about this point, that's when I'm going to bring my upper arm away from my body and drive up under to finish off in that fully extended position. I'll bring it back down to the front rack position, and then again, drive the hips forward. And when the kettlebell comes up to about shoulder height, I'm going to drive up and under with my arm. All right, I want you to give it a go. Just try 5 on each side. Let's get going. Drive the hip forward, keep the upper arm tucked in, and then push through with your arm to get that kettlebell to come right up overhead. Try 2 more. And last one. All right, and now I'm going to try on the other side. Now, it's probably a good idea to take your watch off if you've got a watch on, or try turning it around the other way so that you don't smash the screen. Let's try it on the other side. So again, drive the hips forward, keep the upper arm tucked in. As the kettlebell comes up to shoulder height, I'm going to push through with my arm and finish off in that fully extended position. Okay, one more. And resting there. Good. Okay, well done, guys. Now, the reason I wanted to practice that kettlebell snatch is that we're going to utilize it in a kettlebell complex that we're going to do. Now, the kettlebell complex involves 5 movements, and we're going to do 5 reps on each of the movement. So we're going to start with a 1-arm swing. We're swinging the weight through. We do 5 swings, and then we're going to introduce the snatch. So then, instead of letting the weight swing up the shoulder, I keep my upper arm tucked in, and I push through. And I do 5 snatches. When I've completed 5 snatches, I'm going to do a clean. And that's just where I swing the weight up to the front rack position. Let the weight fall back down between my legs, drive my hips forward, and swing back up to the front rack. Now on the 5th one, I want you to hold it up, and we're going to do 5 squats. You'll see I've got my other arm out here, just as a bit of a counterbalance as I hold the weight on one side. Once you've done 5 squats, I want you to press up overhead, 5 presses. Now in this one, you may need to use a little bit of momentum from your legs to help get the weight up overhead. So if you need to do that, that's fine. Once you've done your 5 presses, we're going to switch over to the other side and do the same routine on the other arm. And once you've done both arms, we're going to stop and have a rest. Now we're going to have plenty of rest at the end of this complex. It's quite a strenuous one. And we're only going through 4 times. All right, so getting ready to start. We're going to start with our 5 single arm swings. Just get the stopwatch going. And when you're ready, let's go. So 5 swings here. Riding the hips forward, forcing that weight to swing up in front. And once you've done your 5th swing, we're going to transition into the snatch. Keeping your upper arm tucked in, drive the hips forward to generate that momentum, and then push through with your arm to finish up overhead. Now I'm going to do 5 cleans, leading up to the front rack. Now the clean doesn't take as much effort as the swing or the snatch, so you can tone down your hip drive a little bit. On the 5th one, we're going to hold it up, and let's go, 5 squats. Once you've done your 5th squat, pressing up overhead, 5 presses. Make sure you bring the weight back down to the front rack position, and then rotating it up and around as you press up. When you've done 5, resting the weight down, and we're going to start on the other side. Straight away, let's go. 5 swings. And then 5 snatches. Drive the hips. Keep the upper arm tucked in, and then push through as that kettlebell comes up to shoulder height. Now once we've done 5 of these, we're going to transition into our kettlebell clean. So just cleaning the weight up to the front rack. We have a less power required for this. It's like a little rest halfway through. On the 5th one, hold it up, 5 squats. And then we finish off with our 5 presses. And resting there. Okay, so we're going to have about a minute rest. Plenty of time to get our breath back and to let our heart rate come back down closer to normal. So if you want to grab a drink of water, now is the time to do that. But I do want you to remember, air is more important than water. So if you go and grab your water bottle straight away, you're actually affecting your breathing recovery. Okay, so make sure you get your breath back, and then a little sip of water, and we're ready to go for our next round. Okay, so getting ready for set number 2, starting off with our 5 swings. All right, starting in 10 seconds. Okay, let's get down, ready to start. So squat down, reach out, grab the kettlebell, and off we go. Hike it back between your legs, and then straight up into the swing. 5 swings, making sure you're engaging your core the whole way. From the 5 swings, we're going into our snatch. So letting that weight swing up at the elbow, and then pressing through. Once you've completed your 5th one, we're going to go into the clean. So just cleaning the weight up. Once again, just nice and easy on this one. Last one, holding it up. 5 squats. And then 5 presses. Okay. Once you've done your 5, resting the weight down. Let's start on the other side. 5 swings. And from our 5 swings into the snatch, straight up and overhead. Don't forget, power is coming from your hip drive, from the glutes. And then we go into our clean, 5 cleans. And this one's tricky because it is sort of easy to just stand there and heave it up. But I do want you to still use your core, your glutes, to generate that momentum. Go 5 squats. And then we go for 5 overhead presses. Okay. And resting there. So again, we're going to have about a minute rest. Just using these first few seconds, get your breathing back under control. Once you're starting to breathe a little more normally, then you can take the time to go and have a sip of water. And when I'm doing my snatches, one thing I just want you to pay attention to is when I let the weight down, I'm not just letting it swing straight down between my legs. Okay, you can do that, but obviously there's higher risk of hitting your knees or your legs, or there's more force as well, so high risk of hurting your shoulder or your back. So when you're coming down out of that snatch, just want you to make sure that you bring it back to the front rack and then let it swing from there. Up, back to the front rack, and then let it swing down from there. All right, time to start set number 3. Ready? And let's go. 5 swings. Once you've done your 5 swings, into the snatch. And driving with the hips to generate that momentum. Once you've done your 5 snatches, bring it back to the clean. Nice and easy. It's our little break halfway through. 2 to go. And then on the last one, holding it up into your squats. Trying to get right down. Hips right down to knee level. And 5 presses. Okay, weight comes down on the ground. Start on the other side. 5 swings. Five snatches. You've done your 5 there. I'm going to do my 5 cleans. And then holding it up, 5 squats. 5 presses. Okay, good stuff. All right, resting there for a minute. We're going to do one more round on that kettlebell complex. So again, just utilizing this time to catch your breath, then have a sip of water, and we'll get ready for our last round through this kettlebell complex. So remember, we want to get our breathing rate under control before we go and grab that water. Okay, another 30 seconds rest, and then we'll get into this last set. And it's just as you start to fatigue, I really want you to focus on your hip drive. That's what kettlebell training is all about. Just using your core and your hips. So even though we might be doing lots of different things with our arms, most of the momentum is coming from that drive. It's got to be explosive. All right, guys, ready? Let's get down and off we go. 5 swings. Okay, once you've done your swing, straight into the snatch, drive the hips forward. That's it. Power with the hips. Okay, once you've done your 5th snatch, then we're going to transition into the clean. 5 cleans. And on the 5th one, holding it up, 5 squats, right down. And then I'm pressing. And when you've completed your 5 presses, you're going to rest the weight down. Swapping over the other side. Go to the side view. 5 swings. And there we go, 5 snatches. Again, drive the hips. Explosively pushing them forward, straightening them up. It's 2 to go. And now I go into my clean. So cleaning the weight up to the front rack. And on the 5th one, we're going to hold it up. 5 squats. And then I do my 5 presses to finish off. Okay. And resting there. Okay, good stuff. Just having a breather for a moment. While you're resting, I just got to talk you through our next exercise, which is our final exercise. It's a portion of the Turkish get-up. We're going to call it the Turkish sit-up. We're basically going to hold the weight up above our body as we lie on the ground and come up into a seated position. Now, there is a little bit of technique involved with this. It's not as simple as just holding the weight and sitting up. So what I want you to do is lie down on the ground, and we're going to extend one arm up. Okay, now on the side that I'm holding the weight, that leg is bent, foot flat on the ground. The other arm and leg, I'm going to bring them out about 45 degrees, and they're flat on the ground. Palm to the ground, heel digging into the ground. And the first part of the movement is to roll up onto my elbow, and then I'm going to press up into the seated position. I come back down onto my elbow and lie back down. Don't try and sit straight up, okay? You've got to roll over on the elbow and then come up into the seated position. Okay, now if that's a bit too hard, we can regress it slightly. Instead of sitting all the way or rolling all the way over onto our elbow, I just want you to try and lift your shoulder up off the ground and then back down. Lift your shoulder up and then back down. Now, if that's too hard, then the very first level is just to lie here and hold the weight. Hold it there for 30 seconds. Okay, now we're going to do 30 seconds on one side, and then we're going to switch it over and do 30 seconds on the other side. Just going to adjust our screen slightly here. All right, so let's get down, guys, into position. Lying on the ground, bringing that weight up. Bent leg on the side that you're holding the weight. Other arm leg flat on the ground. And let's go. Coming up and then lowering back down on your elbow. We're going for 30 seconds here. So if you're just doing the shoulder raise, I just want you to keep doing that for 30 seconds. And if it gets too much, just regress back to the hold. And we're going to keep holding for 30. We've got 10 to go. And that's time. Okay, so we're going to bring the weight over to the other side and lift up on our other arm. Remember, the knee on the side I'm holding the weight is bent. Foot flat on the ground. My other arm leg out to the side, 45 degrees. And let's go. 30 seconds here. Rolling up onto my elbow, pressing up onto my hand. Then back down onto my elbow, back down to the ground. Good stuff. Keep it going there. Now, one of the challenges with this exercise is actually keeping your arm that's holding the weight vertical the whole time. So even as my body position is changing and the angle between my arm and my body is changing, I've got to keep that weight, that arm holding the weight vertical. Okay, rest there. Rest there. All right, now we're going to try another set. So if you're starting to fatigue, just drop it back to one of the other options. If it's getting too hard to sit up, then just do the shoulder raise. If the shoulder raise is getting too hard, then just practice holding your arms straight, locking it in position, and building up that stability. All right, let's get ready for our next set. Okay. Weight coming up, bending my knee on the side that's holding the weight, other arm and leg flat out on the ground. Now let's go. Up onto my elbow, press up onto my hand. Back down. Up onto my elbow, press up onto my hand. Keep going there. Halfway. That's it. So if you're just doing the hold, just practice locking that arm in. Okay, you might start to get a bit shaky. If you're getting to the point where you think, I'm not going to be able to hold it anymore, then just rest it down to the side. Okay, that's time. So we're going to bring the weight over to the other side, lift up on the other arm, switching the bent leg, and let's go. Up and up. Back down onto your elbow, back down to the ground. Roll onto your elbow and sit up. Good stuff, guys. Keep it going. Keep it going now. Another 10 seconds. Okay, and rest up there. Nice work. Now we're going to do one more set. One more set to finish off. Okay, so let's take that arm back over to the original side. My leg on the side I'm holding the weight is bent. My other arm and leg spread out at 45 degrees, not in line with my body, out to the side. And let's go. Rolling up onto my elbow, pressing up onto my hand. Roll to the elbow and then press. This position here is called the post. Because my arm is like a post. And that's time. All right, let's swap it over to the other side. And off we go. 30 seconds now. So remember, the leg on the side you're holding the weight is bent. Your other arm and leg straight out to the side. Rolling onto your elbow and then pressing up. That's it, finishing in that post position. Good stuff. Now remember, at any time, if you're starting to fatigue, regress back to the level beforehand, just doing the shoulder raise or even just lying on the ground, holding your arm up. That's it, 5 more seconds. Nice rest there. Excellent work. Okay, well done everyone. I hope you enjoyed this kettlebell session and I'll see you next time.